Hello. Good morning. I'm so psyched to see y'all here today. Go ahead and send me some love. Send me some hearts so that I can see that you're here. Type in something to let me know how you're doing. I am using my favorite mug today, my Wonder Woman mug. I guess it's one of my favorites. I have another favorite one, but yeah, so that's one of my favorites. So if you can, just like share with me a picture of your mug. But I love my mugs in the morning. So today we are going to talk about how to take good care of ourselves during all this shizzle so that we can be in it for the long haul. Okay, it's part of the podcast that I have coming up and a couple of other things that I'm creating, but I wanted to share it with you here first. And so I'm going to give people a couple more minutes to drop in, and then we'll go ahead and do that shizzle. So let me just check here. Cool. All right. Hey, how's it going? Cool. Don't forget to send me some hearts or some thumbs up so that I can see that you're here. All right. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the comment box and then I can answer them for you. All right. Hey, girl, how's it going? I'm doing well. Yes, my weekend was awesome. I took some self-care today, last weekend. I don't know what y'all did, but I had an amazing time in the mountains. I was near Denali National Park, and so it was absolutely stunning weather. You know, I love me some action. So gray does not do it for me. I'm cool with sun, so I could play outside. I love clouds in the sky, mixing things up. I love uh, I love rain, not every day, but when it rains, it's awesome. So we had like the perfect weather day for me. It was like gorgeous in the middle of the day, and then we get an afternoon thunderstorm, a little bit of action, and then it would clear up again after the weather was all cleaned out, and I totally loved it. It was amazing. All right. So I'm going to dive in and get a bit started now. Let me just make sure I'm going to turn off this other thing so my stream's okay. All right. So, what I wanted to jam about today was self care, self love, self prioritization during this time that is drawing a lot of our energy. Okay. Because I want y'all to be able to give a shit about important things and take action for the long haul because none of this is going to stop anytime soon. Hey, Haley, yes, we are waking the fuck up today. And so, you know, a lot of people think, and especially spiritual people, and especially women, we get confused between spirituality and caring and taking care of other people and giving of ourselves. And we think that the more we give without, you know, giving back to ourselves, that it ends up being a spiritual thing, right? Oh, but even though I'm depleting and even though I'm suffering, you, you know, really in the long haul, that's a good thing to do. Like in Buddhism, there's this concept of the bodhisattva that's like comes back and does everything for other people, right? Like they're willing to cut off their arm to like help a stranger even, just as long as it like helps move that person towards enlightenment. But guess what, y'all? Bodhisattvas are enlightened. I don't know about you, but I'm not yet. And we have to take care of our mental health and take care of our, you know, goddess pods because otherwise we're going to burn out and we're not going to be able to be as effective in this world and make the changes that we need to make. We're not going to be able to create our dreams because, you know, taking those risks, writing the book, quitting your job, leaving the toxic relationship, um, going back to school, right? All of that stuff is kind of intense, very intense. And you need to learn how to nourish yourself right now with finally people are waking up and taking action and being so involved in the anti-racist movement and in social justice. Awesome. But what I also see happening is people dive in, they're learning and they're taking some action, but then they start to feel depleted. And then they start going, this is too much. Poor me. I have too much going on. And they kind of check out, right? That is not helping anybody. So if you think it's helpful to the world for you to just go, go, go and give, give, give and not take care of yourself and give back to yourself, that's a total misperception, right? That's why, there's the concept of compassion and wisdom, right? The bird that has two wings. We have compassion and wisdom. And you can't just feel compassion and do shit without having the wisdom of skillful action, right? And if you are giving, giving, giving and burning out, that's not skillful action, right? Skillful action helps you do it in the long haul. It helps you understand what is the best way to help this person right now. And sometimes the best way to help the world is to rest. Okay? Like, think about that concept. Sometimes the best way to help the world is to rest. So, there's a great group on Instagram called Nap Ministry. And I'll share about them in the email that goes out tomorrow. But they are of the mindset that napping is revolutionary because when people aren't taking care of themselves, when they do not rest, there is nothing to give, right? And the patriarchy and white supremacy and all of these and all of these institutions in our society encourage us to just go and work hard and never take vacations and go work hard for someone else's dreams, work in corporations, just so that you can have health insurance. And there's all kinds of bullshit that goes on into making us think that we are supposed to feel like shit and be really tired. Like, how many of you have seen that it's kind of sexy to be busy, right? Like, oh, how are you doing? It's either like, oh, I'm awesome, or like, oh, I am so busy, right? It's like this thing that means that like you're worthy or that you're important. And I think that's why a lot of people sort of default to busyness. One is to escape, right? Whatever's going on in our minds. The other thing is to use it to feel like they're important. It's like, well, if I'm busy, it means I'm needed. I've got shit to do, right? But it's really not benefiting you or anybody else to be so fucking busy. It's not. Like, my schedule is packed, packed. One day I'll share my screen with you so that you can check it out. But I mean, literally, like, there is something in every single slot every day. But is that busy? Not to me. I mean, busy to me is like, oh my gosh, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But for me, I'm just getting shit done. It's like, how are you doing? Getting shit done. Fucking loving it, right? Busy is not sexy. Haley says society totally idolizes busy and shames rest as lazy, right? And what about the like racist approach with that too? Like, oh, a culture that takes siestas in the afternoon. How lazy. You know, I'm I'm half Filipino and time is not as big of a deal. There's a joke, right? Filipino time for all the Filipinos that are in the West. And it's like, oh yeah, you're on Filipino time. You can be half an hour late. If they say it starts at 7, like it really is a lot later. But, what's happening is there's a culture that values context. Like, they trust if you're late, it means you had something to fucking do. That maybe you had to take care of your kids, or maybe you had to take care of grandma, or maybe you needed to take care of yourself. But it's like not this whole fucking thing about time, right? And but then you bring the people from that culture into the Western culture where it's like knock back, like got to be exactly on time, and if you don't, it's a sign of disrespect. Like it's kind of a shock, and you have to get used to it. Like I remember when I worked for Outward Bound, I would saunter into a meeting maybe 5 minutes late. I'm thinking I'm doing great because Filipino time is like way different, and I would get like chastised. And I was about 20 at that time. I forget how old I was, 21. And my friend Jimmy Trujillo, who is Mexican, he kind of pulled me aside and he was like, Anna, I feel you, sister, because my culture is the same way, but that's not how it rolls here, right? And I was like, okay. So, yeah, there's this big assumption that, like, taking some time to take care of yourself or to attend to what you need to is being lazy, right? Not caring. So, I just want you to really keep that in mind that there's some context to this. There's, you know, a socioeconomic context in our culture, a capitalist culture that really wants people to grind and do the work and just do it for someone else's dream. But your dreams and your needs, no, they just kind of put that off. So, no, that's not what we're going to be doing, okay? So, what I wanted to talk to you about was sort of some micro ways you can take care of yourself. Because macro ways, a lot of people know, like, okay, I've got an idea of the big vacations I can do. I've got an idea of all this other shit I can do for fun. But when it comes to the day to day, what do I do to take care of myself? I can't get a massage every day. I can't get acupuncture every day, right? So, what does it look like to take care of yourself? What does it look like to rest on a regular basis and nourish yourself so that you can be in it for the long haul? So, if you have some ideas, go ahead and type it into the comment box and let me know what you do for self care, just so that I can see kind of some of the things going on. And if you're just joining, send me some hearts so that I know that you're here. Okay. Um, all right. So, first, I like to think of the idea of bookending your day. And this is a sort of Ayurvedic concept, okay? And when we are bookending our day, you're sort of setting the tone, right? Like in Ayurveda, there's this concept that every morning has the energy of a new beginning. So you can like be reborn every morning. And when you really get into it, every moment is a totally new opportunity to start fresh, right? So, hey, Rebecca. And so you want to think about what is the tone I'm setting for my day, right? So if you wake up and you turn over and you like pick up your phone and you're like, oh, okay, like this is my way of checking in the morning. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so, like, it doesn't really set a good tone for your day, right? You're setting this tone of, hey, I've got all of this other stuff on my phone to be focusing on instead of my self care right off the bat. You open it up, there's email, there's all these stressful things going on, there's the news. I mean, that is not setting the tone for the energy to create the world that you want to live in and to create the life that you want to live. That is just not how it works. Nicole says, eating healthfully is a form of self care for me. I like eating a huge salad every day. Damn, yes. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I miss my Santa Cruz and my California and my Oregon salads. I'm not a gardener, just saying. My calendar is full, and gardening is not one of those things that relaxes me at this point in my life. I might take it up. I have like an arrow garden, where I can grow stuff inside because in Alaska you can't grow year round. And so I do that for a little bit. But like, oh, I just miss having such awesome salads and the greens when they're grown fresh and you buy them like so soon after they're plucked from the earth or you pluck them from your yard. They're so awesome and amazing. I just don't get that experience here in Alaska because I'm not a gardener. So by the time shit gets to me, it's been some days, right? So I'm so stoked that you get to do that. If you get to do that, for sure do it. So, all right. Let me see here. All right. How much time do I have? Perfect. I'm going to be leading another meditation in a little bit, so I just wanted to make sure I had time. Okay, so starting off your day. How do you start off your day? This is what I do. I wake up, and before I open my eyes, three gratitudes. Because when you start your day from a place of abundance, from a place of knowing, from a place of like, look at all the awesome shit I have. Do you know what happens? The universe notices that you're paying attention to all the awesomeness. And guess what? It's going to send you some more. Okay? So that is such an amazing way to start your day because you've set the tone that I can appreciate some shit that's going on in my life right now in a good way. So, like, you know, wake up, and I'm so grateful that it's sunny today, right? I never really had that one when I lived in California, but in Alaska I wake up and I'm like, "Ooh, it's sunny today." Right? Or I'm so grateful I had such a great weekend. Or I'm so grateful that I was able to get a massage. Right? Like, what are the three things? And it helps to change it up because if you use the same three things all the time, the body kind of numbs out, gets resistant to it. The gratitude doesn't have the same effect, okay? Then I do my three new thoughts. And what I mean by that is, in Freedom School, we do thought work and we learn that your thoughts create the way you feel, which drive your actions, and what you do or do not do in the world creates your results. So, having the thoughts that will help you create the life you want is so important to wake up with. So, I want you to start off after your three gratitudes. Well, you can experiment with what works for you, but this definitely works for me. So I have my three gratitudes, and then I say, oh, okay, so the three things I'm really stoked about. One of them that I always say is from Gay Hendricks' books, The Big Leap. And it's like, I expand and I change it a little bit for my goals, but I say, I expand in simple abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. And I feel it. I feel me expanding in abundance. I feel myself expanding in love and success and how it inspires other people. And that is like an awesome thought to my day. If I'm doing a launch for my business, I'm like, I am so happy that 10 people signed up today, right? Setting the tone, like that shit is already happening, good as done. Um, I've had a history of cancer twice, right? So, one important thing for me to do is to really drop into I expand, or I am perfectly healthy, fit, and sexy. So, that's what I tell myself in the morning. I go, girl, you are perfectly healthy, fit, and sexy. And I wake up good. If I'm feeling sleep deprived, I've had enough sleep to be positive, productive, and patient. Because when I'm sleep deprived, I can get kind of bitchy or tired or like, you know, feeling kind of apathetic, right? So I have my three affirmations: positive thoughts, new thoughts. These are thoughts that are believable to you. They cannot be BS thoughts that you're just like, oh yeah, I have like the perfect body. I have like a supermodel body or something like that. It's something that you actually believe in, okay? Then what I do is I get up, I scrape my tongue because I'm into Ayurveda. So I don't know if you guys know tongue scraping, but it's like a shower for your mouth. So I scrape my tongue, drink a big glass of water, and then I go turn on the tea. And then I come back, floss, brush my teeth, wash my face. And then the tea water is usually boiled at that point. I make my tea, I put in a tea bag, and because this is part of my just like sort of short routine, I do a short meditation. I have my regular meditation practice, which is like, 20 minutes a day, but that I try to fit in whenever I can. But for my morning routine, I get at least 2 to 3 minutes in. Okay. Because calming your mind, centering your mind just for 2 or 3 minutes every day does more for you than meditating for an hour once a week, right? So then, as my tea bag is steeping, I do my meditation, right? Then I come back and then I take my favorite mug and I pour either heavy whipping cream because I love that shit, or hemp milk is what I use when I'm cleansing. It's what I'm using right now. Hemp milk, I'm loving it. It's like a super good alternative to dairy for me. So I'm loving it. I'm actually not technically cleansing right now. I'm just sticking with the hemp milk because I think it gives me more energy than starting out with cream in the morning. So I do that. Okay. Then I'll be honest, this doesn't happen every day. Then I like to go for a quick run. But what usually happens is before all that, if I don't wake up early enough, as my daughter wakes up, since she wants to spend this time with me before I leave to start my day. I either leave to come into my home office or I leave to go into an office that I rent outside of the house because when COVID hit and she was home a lot, I just can't get shit done because I hear her talking and my brain like turns off and has to focus on her. So I'll leave and so she wants that time. So I'll do that. And then if I can, I'll take some time in the middle of the day to exercise and get my run in. But what I definitely do is get some kind of chi flowing. And I'm bouncing right now because I have like a rebounder downstairs and I just bounce on that shizzle for like 3 minutes, right? And it just gets my lymph flowing, gets my energy flowing. I like to do just three sun salutations. And people are like, the problem is a lot of people get like, oh, I don't want to do this if it's kind of half-assed. And they're like, unless I can do yoga for 45 minutes, then what's the point of three sun salutations? The point of three sun salutations is it's three motherfucking sun salutations and you're moving your body and you're getting that energy flowing, right? So it totally makes a difference for me, waking up that energy in my body and getting it flowing. Okay? Because to be honest, for most women in this world, we don't have the fucking time to do an hour long run and then an hour long yoga session and all that shit if we are like changing the world and changing our lives and building our dreams, right? A lot of women have this guilt like, oh, I'm not prioritizing myself enough. And if I really was good at what I did, I'd be able to build my business and have a routine like that. Not if you have kids. Like, don't shame yourself that you're not doing it just because you have, uh, you know, other little humans that you're having to grow, right? Or you're working a whole other job while you're building your business. Some shit's got to be triaged, but you still have to do your self care. Just find a routine that works for you. Okay. So that's my morning routine. Guess how long that takes? I'm going to give you a minute. Not a minute. A minute's actually a long time. That's why when you meditate for 2 or 3 minutes, it actually does something. So that takes me less than 20 minutes, all of that. You should be able to get in 15 to 20 minutes of something, right? Make that time for yourself to set the tone and start your day off right because your day is going to go a whole lot better than when you're like, oh, you wake up and you kind of look at this and you're like, oh shit, look at what's happening in the world right now. Oh, let me check some emails. Oh, fuck. I got a stressful email from my boss. Or, oh, did that person I'm interested in text me back? Oh, they didn't. Oh, I'm not worthy. They're probably not that into me. Whatever, right? Like, don't start your day off like that. It matters. Okay. Then I want you to think about your evening routine as well, right? What I do before I go to bed. Oh, I missed one very important thing. Sorry. This is a huge part of my daily routine, especially when I'm so busy. Because I told you about how my calendar is so full. I'm pretty good at sticking to that calendar at this point. I have a lot of discipline. Um, I think I've always been like that. I've been kind of anal that way, so it's helpful to have that in this context. But one thing I do a lot, and that helps me a ton when I didn't take a look at my calendar ahead of time, is before I get out of bed, I think, what is the one thing I can do today to move me towards my dreams? Right? What is the one thing that I can do today to help get me closer? Because if you are not doing that thing, girl, every day, guess what happens? Your soul is like, fuck you, you're not listening to me. You need to do something every day to move you towards that life of your dreams, or if you're living the dream, deeper into that dream, right? So for me, with my business, I'm always like, what's the most important thing I need to do today? Right? And then if I have time, it's also like, well, what's the important thing I need to do today for family also? And sometimes, the most important thing I need to do today can't be around business. Like if I notice that my daughter is really needing me right now, it's like, well, the most important thing I need to do today is make sure I spend an hour with her this morning, totally focused, not checking my phone, being fully present. That is the best thing that I can do today for me all around, right? But there's an intention behind that for how it's moving me closer to who I want to be in the life I want to live, right? Or, for sure, I'm going to get in my run before I exercise today because yesterday I let it drop because I didn't do it first thing in the morning, right? So, what is the most important thing that you could do today to move you towards that life of your dreams? Then, at the end of the day, so day happens. You know what when Nicole said about eating healthfully, your lunch hour is so important. Like the food you put in your body is an absolute form of self care. If you are putting in heavy stuff, you're going to have heavy energy, like in Ayurveda, right? That tamasic heavy energy. But if you're putting in like lighter foods, like salads, that can raise your energy and help you serve more during the day. Notice when you do a cleanse, in Freedom School, we do a cleanse every quarter. So, we do one we just finished our spring cleanse, which is 3 weeks. And then we're going to do a shorter one in July. So if you want to join us, the cleanses are a part of Freedom School, like in addition to the mindset work we do. So in July, we're going to do a shorter one. We do another longer one in the fall and then another shorter one in the winter. Raises your vibe. It's all connected when you eat cleanly and lightly. Okay. Then in the evening, phones off, all that stuff off, at least 2 hours before you go to bed. Especially if you have trouble going to sleep at night. Okay. So at least 2 hours before bed, I want you to be phones off and chillax. Now, I know a lot of you probably watch something right before bed, but notice how you stay up later than you would if you turned it off. Like my husband thinks he's a total night owl. He's like, I can't go to bed before 1 or 2. That's just not how my body works. Well, guess what happens when we're like in West Africa and there's no electricity and we're traveling together? That's right, to bed as soon as the electricity goes out. Or if we're camping and there's no electricity, guess who falls asleep while I'm reading to the kiddo? That's right, he does. But he doesn't believe me, so that's okay. But anyway, so, keep that in mind, all right? But no matter what you do, let's say you're like, fuck that, I'm watching Netflix until I fall asleep. I want you to at least, when you do finally turn it off to go to bed, I want you to just think about 3 things that went well. It's like you're bookending your day with gratitude again. Like, I followed through with that one thing I was supposed to do today, right? I followed through on that. It was so amazing. Like, good job, Anna, right? Like, oh, I didn't get pissed when I wanted to that time. Oh, you know, I let that person go first in front of me in line. Like what did you do well? How did you do well? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I finally published that blog post, right? Whatever it is, what did you do well that day? And go to sleep happy about it. Don't be thinking about the shit that went wrong right before you went to bed. What went well? Because there are things that went well. You got up out of bed, right? You tried. There's always something that went well. So do that. Then you're bookending your day. And I do want to encourage you to get sleep. I want you to get the sleep that you need so that you can fight the good fight, create the dreams that you deserve, that you were here for, so that you can share your gifts with the world. One quote I love from NAP Ministry is they said, "We will never stop. We will rest." Fuck yeah. Like I think about this with like lawsuits and stuff and how fucked up it is that so many of them, like the attorneys are just trying to make the like average civilian tired so that they don't fight anymore, that they give in, right? That's such bullshit. But that's what happens, right? People fight, 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 and then you don't have the energy anymore. You have to rest. So Haley says, I love your routine. I need to be more consistent and use the babies as an excuse to avoid it too often. Absolutely. And like, I'm in a group with Rachel Rogers. She's an amazing business coach. And she was saying, like, all these books written by, like, what a successful morning is are written by, like, these privileged white dudes that are basically like, well, I get up and then I meditate for an hour, and then I go for my super thinking walk, and then I, blah, blah, blah. And then I have my like bulletproof coffee with my blah, blah, blah breakfast. And she's just like, who the fuck can do that? Like people with kids and stuff, right? And so, yeah, exactly right, Haley. But, we still have to find the routine that works for us, right? Because you have to build your dream how you can sustain it. I learned this so much in my business. I had a huge year in my business the year my daughter was born, 2014. Huge, off the charts. But I was fucking done. I was not building my business the way I could sustain it. So what happened? I burned out and I was like, oh, I pulled back, just kind of maintenance mode in the business for a while I was raising her. I mean, part of that I would have chosen to do anyway because that's just what I wanted to do with her being so young. But I constricted and contracted so much more because I was miserable, because I wasn't growing it the way that I could sustain it. So I want you to think about the same thing. If you have some big goals, if you want to lose weight, you have to lose it how you're going to keep it off. Any person can lose weight on any freaking diet. That's why the ice cream diet works. That's why blah blah those crazy diet works. But the problem is you have to stick to it. So I never recommend people lose weight in a way that's temporary, right? You got to do what you can do forever. Forever, right? Because as soon as the diet ends, that shit's coming back. So forever. So how can you work for social justice? How can you be an anti-racist forever? Right? Not just right now and all of the work that you have to do. How can you integrate it into your life long term? That's sustainable. What are you capable of sustaining when you want to start your business? You know, don't have your availability be 24/7. What's sustainable for you? Do it that way, because if you don't, you're going to start getting stuck, right? You're going to start getting stuck in that pattern and not in the way that you're able to live it. Michelle says, 5-year-old kisses are one of the best parts of my morning. I love the invitation and encouragement that the 5 minutes do. I think it got a little cut off, but yeah, that's amazing. It is a great part of the morning. Meditate or do a couple salutations has meaning and makes a difference. Nikki says, oh yes, I was up till 3:30 a.m. this morning because of late night screen time. And Michelle says that self-care is not selfish or shameful, but part of a healthy, productive day. Absolutely. In my podcast tomorrow, so have a listen to the Rebel Buddhist podcast tomorrow. I talk about how selfishness is the first step to selfless behavior and actions, right? And I would pick a different word than selfish because selfish has all these negative connotations, but it sounds kind of intriguing. That's why I used it that way. But it's like, when we are selfish, all that means is prioritizing our needs over other people's needs, right? I'm not saying to always prioritize your needs above other people's needs. I'm just saying you need to do that as part of self-care so that your cup is full and you can go out into the world and make a difference. You can go out into the world and help people. Okay, here's what it looks like if I am burned out and doing everything for my family. I'm playing with my kid, and all I'm thinking is, I am so fucking tired. I cannot play another game of mermaids. I am like so done, right? But if I've had enough sleep, if I got in my needs, if I exercise, if I was able to bang out that one important thing I needed to do today to feel good about my day, if I'm eating well and I'm sleeping well, I'm like, I can do this. I can do this with her and be fully present because I'm not just burning the candle at both ends, right? You don't want to just go through the motions and help people and help the world. You want to come at it from a place of feeling full and fulfilled and energized. That is when the world benefits. When you are showing up fully actualized, fully taking care of yourself, you're able to give more because you're not feeling resentful or depleted, okay? So, I want you to rest. During this time when we are so stressed with a lot of the self isolation that happened, the way the world has shifted in terms of, what we have available to us for self care and community and things like that, social justice, anti racism, taking down white supremacy, right? Like, don't let the fight burn you out because it needs to be a long haul game. Building your dreams, build it in a way that you are sustainable, right? Or that is sustainable and that you can take care of yourself in the way you need to. So I hope that that helped. I hope that you can start to think about how you want to start your day, how you want to end your day. Think about what kind of daily motions, daily activity, my schedule, my calendar. What do I want that to look like for the long haul? What can I sustain? That's how I want you to build your dreams. Okay? So, if you have any other questions, you could go ahead and post them below. If you are watching this later, you can do hashtag team replay, and then I can see, I'll get tagged to see that you posted a new comment or something, okay? So, take care, you guys. I hope that you have an amazing week, okay? And I hope that you plan something awesome for the weekend to rest and take care of yourself. And I hope that as you bookend your day, you start to see the difference it makes with setting the tone and how awesome it can be when you are prioritizing self care, not just of your body, but of your mind. That's what that morning and evening routine is, self care of the mind, okay? All right. Mwah. Love you.